Welcome, collectors and model railroaders. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your time with me in another brand new Diecast Emporium episode here on YouTube. In today's video, we're going to check out a all brand new custom scratch-built 187 scale truck. This is a line painting vehicle, or a stripe truck, sometimes as they're commonly known as. This was built by my buddy London Drisdale, who owns Cherokee Valley Railroad. You can check him out on Facebook. As always, I will post a link to his Facebook page down in the video's description, so make sure you check him out. This is something that's kind of been a missing gem from my 187 scale collection, and really a vehicle that is necessary when you're modeling a highway department or a road construction company, because this is really the last integral part of a vehicle when you are doing road construction jobs. It is the vehicle that places the stripes on the road, as its name would imply, so you know what lane your cars are in. And really, I could not be more excited or more pleased with how this truck turned out. And we're going to dive deep and take a look at all of the details and all the finishing work that has gone into this. And I'll explain to you the whole process that London did when he went into building this for me. And again, this is not the first build that this guy has done for me. He did the HO scale fire department mobile command center last year, which turned out, again, far superseded my expectations. You guys can see that video right here if you are interested in seeing that. So make sure you click on that so you can watch it when you're finished with this video. I gotta say, as impressed as I was with that, this blew that one way out of the water. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the truck. What I'm going to do first is give you guys just a quick 360-degree view of the truck so we can see that first. And then, as we go through the video review, as we break it down, we'll take a closer look at each of the components. So let's get started. The chassis, wheels, and tires, as most of you guys, especially that model and HO scale, you're going to be familiar with this. Those are all from Boley, but they were modified for this build to fit the bed and the truck. You can see those here. So it gives it a very realistic looking ride height and presence that's on this truck. The bed was completely designed by him and his CAD software and 3D printed. It features these 6 paint and air tanks, as you can see, with hose line running to each one. So let's take a closer look at that now. Check out the detail there. Oh, zooming in here. Here we go. Kind of hard to do this one-handed. Check out the hose line detail, the different paint. That is incredible on this bed. Very realistic looking on this truck. Again, this is all 3D printed. I think that turned out very, very good. All right, moving on. The bed has an enclosure on the rear where the operators would be, back here, usually facing to the rear, as depicted with the seats facing to the rear. And that's where the operators would sit to operate the spray nozzles and such. Also, there's a drop-down portion right here where an additional operator or so might stand and put pylons or cones down to control the flow of traffic around the fresh paint. You can see that here. Take a closer look. There's the seats, both up here, and then this platform where a guy would stand and collect the cones. Let's move the truck to the rear. All right. There's also a solar panel which is mounted on the roof of the enclosure back here. Now this solar panel is what operates the aero board, again used to control the direction of traffic that would power the lights and signs and such. There are custom signs on the rear, as you guys are looking at right now, that are weathered slightly to kind of depict some either freshly paid asphalt spray or paint spray on it, or both, which he did. I think he created that effect perfectly. So there's the signs: caution, line painting ahead, wet paint on either side, again your bumper, and then the weathering that's on the signs, which I think turned out fantastic. All right, that's the rear. Let's turn our attention to the other side of the truck. Again, bear with me as my camera is awful when we go from zooming to unzooming and different propensities of the truck, which I hope to upgrade my camera here very shortly. Okay, so the cab, again, many of you guys will recognize this. So this is super old school. So this is a 1980s-esque Mack MR that was heavily reworked by him from an original, as I said, Matchbox cab that came on the auxiliary lighting trucks. Many of you guys may have had those, as I did in childhood, that had those lights that extended up from the bed. So he reworked those. He added some light detail and horn detail with some paint. And there's the yellow light bar on top as well. So that is the cab. I also asked him, as you can see, the glass interior, he also added that as well. You can see on the front bumper, now, maybe you can see it, yeah. So it does say Mack, but it's blacked out, which looks really good. He also added mirrors, too. The mirrors don't come on the Mack casting, so those are something that he added as well. All right, to top this truck off, give it a little bit more panache, if you will. This is really, really cool here, guys. So this is a guide arm or a paint arm. You don't see it yet. Here we go. This mounts to the front bumper of the truck. It has a little flag on it and a little guide wheel. Now you can do one of two things with this. Obviously you can mount it on the bumper, which I beg your pardon, this might take 1 or 2 times for it to stand up without falling down because we're on an uneven surface here. 1. Try to take 2. Take 2. Hey, there you go. So there you go. Now it's in the in-service position. Conversely, you can do this. When the truck is traveling, you can mount it across the bumper and have it in the carry position, as I like to say, or the travel position. So very cool how that was engineered. So there you go, guys. That is my review and recap of the Cherokee Valley Railroad Mack MR line painting truck in HO or 187 scale. I gotta say, I could not be more impressed with this truck. A huge thank you once again to London Drysdale and Cherokee Valley Railroad for undertaking this contract and this project for me. I can't thank you enough. I know he had a lot of fun building this, and I know I certainly will treasure this in my collection. As I said before during the beginning of the video, it really was the last piece of the highway department that I really needed to kind of fill that gap or fill that need. So I'm really impressed with it. And as I said, if you have some other vehicles, as I have many for the HO scale highway department, it really looks good, you know, in a little mini diorama with things going on. So it just looks, it fits the part. It really, really looks good. He is accepting orders for this. So you can contact him, as I said, via the link in this video's description. You can talk to him, and he also has an eBay account as well by the same name, Cherokee Valley Railroad, where he does some of his other custom builds and then lists them for sale. Gotta say, guys, some of his work, most of his work, is just absolutely out of this world. He's done some recent things that immediately come to my mind. He's done some Oshkosh front discharge concrete mixers. He's done some horse trailers with pickup trucks. Obviously, he did a command center for me. He's done this line painting truck for me. I'm sure if you have a vehicle that you want in your collection, contact him. I'm sure he can work something out. All right, guys, that's the end of this one. Thank you so much for watching. Check out the link at your screen right now for another episode of Diecast Emporium. Until next time, take care and be safe. I'll see you in the next review.